growing on Instagram is so much easier than you think. Most people just don't know how to make the algorithm work for them. And because of that, they wrongfully believe that the algorithm hates them or that they're shadow banned. Sound familiar? But in 99% of cases, that is just not true. And so to help you in this video, I'm gonna spill the tea on how to make the Instagram algorithm work for you and push your content like crazy so that you can grow way faster. So to make Instagram work for you, you first have to figure out their goal. And their goal is pretty simple. It's to keep people on Instagram as long as possible by showing them accounts and content they think they will like. So that's their goal, but it's really important to understand how they achieve this. And they do this by studying users' previous engagement patterns to guess future interests. And they also group people together with similar interests to make patterns and predictions as to what kind of content they will want next. It's definitely not a perfect system, but it's what they do, and understanding this and working with it gives you a massive advantage. So to do this effectively, you have to understand the 3 C's. The first is concentrated focus. Here's a fundamental truth. The easier you make Instagram's job, the easier it is to grow. Be thoughtful about what they're monitoring and make it as easy as possible for them to make connections and collect information. That should be at the forefront of your brain whenever you're using Instagram and putting a strategy together. Help Instagram help you, and they will. Here's how you can give Instagram all the information that it needs to make its job easy. First is to optimize your profile to speak to your ideal people. So literally speak their language, and then also include keywords in all of the areas where Instagram is tracking. So your bio, the captions on your content, your name even, all of these things are being tracked by Instagram. So the more consistent that you make these things and the easier you make it for Instagram to understand what you're creating and who you're creating for, the more they're gonna feel confident showing it to the people they know love that kind of content. So go through your profile, make an audit of your bio, audit the captions that you're posting with your content, and make sure you're speaking the language of your ideal followers and using keywords whenever possible so Instagram can spot that and use it as a tool and a data point. Doing this will bring more of the right people to your profile and dramatically increase your conversion rate. Because when people come to your profile because Instagram knew to show them your content, and then they come and they're reaffirmed that this is the kind of content they want, they're way more likely to sign up for more and click that follow button, which is your immediate goal whenever someone visits your profile. So here's the 4 things to think about. So the first thing is your name. So you can actually change the name of your Instagram account as well as your handle. So you wanna make sure it's easy to find you, but also very obvious as to what kind of content you're posting whenever possible. Second is your bio. Again, make sure to include relevant keywords and also make sure it's written for a human, not just keyword stuffing. You wanna actually communicate with people that will be reading it in a human way while sprinkling in keywords so Instagram can track it. And a great way to test this is to actually get someone who's your ideal follower to look at your profile and ask them, would they follow this account? Or when someone does follow you, DM them saying, hey, thanks so much for the follow, and asking them why they followed you. Little tweaks can go a very long way, so continue to experiment, and eventually you're gonna get that elevator pitch down pat to mesh both speaking to Instagram with keywords and then as well as the ideal follower when they visit and read it. The next thing to consider is the keywords in your actual content, so be thoughtful about the language you're using, the words that you're using, and then as well as the topics that you assign to the content and the hashtags that you're actually using on the content. All of these are different data points Instagram is using to really paint a picture as to what your account is about, who it's for, who to show it to. So the more that you give them these data points, the easier you make their job, which is our goal. So that was concentrated focus, but before we move on to the second C, I did want to mention this. I run into people so often on Instagram who have had their account for years, and oftentimes they've done things that they probably shouldn't have done, which brought them followers that aren't exactly authentic, and now they post content that's often completely different from what they used to post, and they get absolutely no engagement. If that's your situation, you're probably better off starting a new account, because if you do all the things that we're going to cover in these videos, you execute the 3 C's, it is completely possible to grow a brand new account and do so very, very quickly. So if you have totally trashed your account with previous behavior, bought accounts, bought followers, all of these different things that you shouldn't have done, or if you've totally changed the kind of content that you're creating, you may want to explore creating a new account. It's not as scary as it seems, and sometimes a fresh start can really help paint a very clear picture for Instagram and make growth way faster. Because I get DMs from people in that situation almost weekly, so I wanted to include that in this video. So if that's you, you may want to think about restarting or creating a new account with a concentrated focus. Okay, on to the second C, and that is content. And this one's pretty obvious. To grow, you need to post content, but there's a lot of things that you can do with that content to, again, make Instagram work for you. So the first thing you want to do is to create content pillars or buckets. You pick the word. Basically what it is a consistent style of content that makes it easier for you to come up with ideas because you know that you talk about this specific subject or create this kind of content. It just makes ideation way easier and makes the kind of content that you're posting more consistent. So create 5 or 7 different buckets and keep posting contents that fall within these buckets. It'll really help Instagram categorize your account and your content. Next is to study accounts on Instagram, especially within your niche, but also without it. And look for accounts that are growing disproportionately faster than most of the competition. attention. You'll notice it's usually because one or two small things they're doing differently than basically everyone else. So really pay attention, go through the content, see the content that has really popped off and gone viral for them, and also see the things that they're doing differently than most. Take note of this and try to work it into your strategy your own way. And when doing your research, always be thinking, how can I take this concept or idea and do it my own way and innovate slightly? Of course, most kind of content has already been created, but people want something new and unique. So you being yourself and approaching something your unique way, innovating slightly, can be exactly what allows you to break through. So many people are just simply copying the exact content they've seen before, and they're not getting results and wondering why. When creating content, understand that Instagram is a very visual platform, so visuals do matter. Pretty things do better on Instagram. It's just the way that it is. So always try to post the best quality possible and don't use grainy footage. It's just far less likely to do well. And when you start creating, be brutally honest about your content and be your own biggest critic. Always look to just make the next piece of content that much better. If you keep doing that and you keep creating, I guarantee you something will take off and you can double down on that. So that's more of an ideation and approach to content, but there are also things that you can do actually on each piece of content to make Instagram work for you to push that content out. The first thing you can do is to add topics to your content. This is a recent feature on Instagram and it's very straightforward. It's manually categorizing your content, removing the guesswork that Instagram would have to do. So whenever you're posting, if you have the option of this feature, make sure to use it. Next, for photos, make sure to use alt text. So simply go into this and describe what's actually in the piece of content and make sure to use keywords whenever possible. And when writing out your captions, make sure to include keywords there as well, and also use highly relevant tags on your content. You can still get reach from tags, and like I said before, Instagram is scanning through your captions as well as everything you do on Instagram, looking for keywords and looking for consistent data points to determine who to show your content to. And the whole premise of this video is to get Instagram to work for you, and so you need to give them everything they need to do that. And the last piece in the content section is to really use all of Instagram's different features, but to use them for what they're actually good at. Instagram is one of the best platforms for giving you a ton of different ways to create, so take full advantage of those, but don't try to force things to be good at what they're not good at. So with Reels being a fantastic tool to go viral, don't try to go super in depth with your Reels. Potentially save that for a longer form video or a carousel post, more targeting to your existing core audience. Understanding that kind of content is less likely to go viral and reach more of a broad audience. Too many people just post Reels because the viral potential, and they have a whole lot of traffic, maybe even a lot of followers, but no real fans or business off of that because they haven't nurtured them using all the tools that Instagram gives to you. So don't be a one-trick pony. Instagram loves people that use all of their features, and because Instagram is tracking relationships as well as all the data points I've talked about to this point, the more different kinds of content that you give to people, the stronger you can build a relationship that's trackable from Instagram, making it more likely that people will see your content over time and do so consistently, which is only going to help you reach a wider audience eventually. So take advantage. By the way, since you are looking to grow on social media, this is the channel to help you do it. I post content here weekly to help you do just that, so make sure to click the subscribe button. The third C is consistency. You probably guessed that, but it is so critical and I can't stress that enough. By simply being consistent, you will dramatically increase your luck. And if you do everything I've mentioned to this point, you almost guarantee some level of success. By being consistent within your content buckets, doing all the best practices, eventually something is going to take off, which you can then double down on and really make growth skyrocket. Instagram is a data machine. They are constantly tracking all of these things we talked about. So don't expect growth to happen overnight. You do need to give it enough data points to start making better decisions. And that's why consistency is so critical. And with implementing the two previous C's, you can dramatically cut down the time that it takes for that to happen, but it's gonna take some consistency. And especially if you want these results to be long-term, consistency is the name of the game, especially with a platform like Instagram. It is so based on recency. So the only way to create a community and maintain a community is to constantly show up and remain relevant in people's minds. So consistency is absolutely massive. So build a plan and stick to it and take advantage of the wealth of different features that Instagram gives you to create with. If you do that, Instagram will love you, it will work for you, and you will grow so much faster than you ever have with way less effort. So I only mentioned hashtags briefly in this video, but they very much still matter. And if you want to understand how to best use Instagram hashtags in 2023, you need to watch this video right here where I walk through the current best practices of hashtags, how to find the right ones, and how to use them effectively to get in front of the right people and grow your page faster. So you can get all that in this video. A ton of people have loved it. So go ahead and click this. I'll see you over there.